Today we're going to install the Fender Eliminator kit from Vagabond. It comes in this little packet here. All these 4 studs are covered nicely so they don't bend in shipping, don't get damaged. The finish is pretty nice. Looks like all the holes are laser cut. Very nice. There's also the manual included in here in color. It's pretty detailed. And finally, the washers and the gasket that we will use. Most of the stuff that we take off from the stock bike will be reused, so that's pretty good. We don't really need that many more fasteners, so we save some money there, and or they make more money, whichever way. So first, you have to remove the passenger seat. Place it on the ground anywhere. If you don't have any tools, you can use this factory toolkit that we used in the previous video. A lot of the tools are from here, so that's good. Next step is removing this little plastic piece. There's a little plastic screw here and another one on the opposite side. So take that out. Once you have the 2 screws removed, get the panel out and save it. We'll need to reinstall the bike. Once you have that panel out, we'll remove this cover here using the 4mm Allen key supplied in the toolkit. Once you have these 2 screws removed, there's these little tabs at the back here. Just pull the piece forward and it'll come off, and then you can just lift it up. Set it aside. Remember where you put the screws. We'll need them later. Once you remove that piece, we'll go ahead and remove the 2 screws here using the 8mm wrench provided in the toolkit. Once you have the 2 screws removed, you can just pull the seat up and it'll come out. Stash it here on top of all our other stuff. Keep the screws safe. Be sure not to drop it in here. I dropped mine and I found it, but you might not be able to. So once you have the seat off, we'll need to remove this whole thing because our wires are coming from underneath it. Get them out of this retaining clip, and let's see where they laid. They go to this little plastic, clear plastic sleeve. Open it up, and we have our 2 connectors. I think those 2 are for the tail lights, the 2 signal lights. Once you have those 2 disconnected, you can pull these free here. And next is to get access to this. These zip ties are kind of a pain. They're holding that in place, so let's see if we can cut them. We don't need them. Once you move away the zip ties, you have that connector that needs to come off here, and let's just take it off. Now we have all 3 of our cables disconnected, so we can go ahead and remove these 4 nuts and remove this whole sub-assembly and work on it outside the bike. For that, we will probably need a 10mm wrench. Once you have this 4 nuts removed from here, this should just fall out and pull the wire through. We still need to get the wires and the lights out of the plastic assemblies. So you'll need to remove these 4 things first, and you'll find 2 more screws, or 4 more screws under that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and these ones. Let's remove all of those now. And I think there's some here as well. Once you have all the screws removed, you can just pull this off and set it aside. And we have these wires that we can thread through. Now we can remove the license plate light undoing these 2 screws. Once you have those 2 screws removed, keep them aside. We will need them to do our assembly. Pull the wire through there, and we can use the light again if we're going to use the stock light. There's also this other metal piece in here on both sides, so get that out. We will need that as well. Looks like this, and this rubber grommet in there and there. Looks like that. Now we can remove the 2 signal lights. You should be able to pop this thing off like I have done here, and then this is just rubber, so you can squeeze it through and it'll come out like that. Just don't scratch it like I did. Then you can also get the wires out and you're all set. We don't need this anymore other than to get your license plate. So we'll put that aside. Now, before we can mount all these things to the Fender Eliminator, we'll need to get this rubber piece off because the new plate will just mount here instead of on this rubber plate, so it'll be more secure. To do that, there's a thing inside that we need to unscrew, and it'll come out. Just realized to get that out, you need an 8mm socket. Not this one because you can't get in there. If I had read the instructions, it would have said right there 8mm socket and driver, not included. Once it's out, push that through. Now if you notice, when you try to take this out and get to this part, the connector won't go through. So you have 2 options: cut the wires and get this out and resolder, or cut this and just bend it out a little bit like they suggest and get it out. That's what I'm gonna do. So get your little snips. Make sure you don't cut the wire. Once you snip it, you can bend this tab up, get the wires out, and bend it back flat if you want to reuse it and go back to stock. Now that we have both of our lights out, and put the screw back on so you don't lose it. Get the Fender Eliminator out and remove this grommet. The grommet is out. Now we'll need to use their spide washer kit. Cut them open and I'll show you what to do. So if you look, we have 2 sets of each type of washer and lock washer. Once you have the washers out, feed the wire through here. There's a circle and then there's a little notch over here. That's so the wires can go past and not hit and not pinch. So once that's through, we'll create a washer stack here using the one on the right first, then the one on the left, and then the one in the middle. I'll just create a stack and I'll show you. So you have the one with the larger hole first, then the lock washer, and then the one with the smaller hole. And after you have these 3, we can just take our nut, thread it through, and tighten it by hand. Okay, do it for both sides and align it like this. Well, don't tighten it too much. Once we put it on the bike, we can just tighten it then, allow it so that it can move for now. Feed these cables through the hole where we pulled the grommet out of, and just leave them here. We'll do the grommet after. Now, we got the license plate light. There's this little rubber piece here. They tell us to remove it because it's going to be sealed anyways. So just pull it out and go over. So once we get the rubber piece out here, we'll need this set that we put aside and that we're going to reuse from the stock fasteners. Feed this connector through here to the other side. Flip it around and do that. We'll need these and the grommet. So first put these two grommets in those holes, and we can put this in there. Once you have the grommets through, go to this side and take these, pop them through. Once you have that steel piece in, you can use those two bottom holes to screw it into. The purpose of these two slots is so you can put your screwdriver through and get at those screws on the other side. So use them. Now feed the last cable through the grommet hole. Make sure there's not a whole lot left on this side, like that. Now take the grommet and feed these through one by one, starting with the biggest piece first. Grommet will stretch, so that'll help. Once you have the grommet fed through from there to here, just get this in here slowly. Start from one side, squeeze it in, and just take it around. It's a little bit of a pain to get that in there, but it'll go in. Just keep at it. Now we're done the sub-assembly of the Fender Eliminator with all the lights. Now we can take this off, all these little protective cover thingies with the studs, put them in our big pile, and go up here. Remember these 4 nuts? We'll use them again here. So now we'll get these wires fed through this hole here. That hole aligns with the grommet, so it'll be easier than this hole. I don't even think you can use that one, so let's use that one here. As soon as you have the wires in, you can just feed it through, feed the studs through, and they'll come in. And as you can see, the grommet lines up with that hole, and we can just put the nuts back onto here. We can use our 10mm wrench again to tighten these 4 up, and then we'll just do the cable management, like put all these through here again and so on. The screws are tightened, and basically that's what it will look like. We'll do the finishing touches on this side now. We'll keep that on the side, put the wires through this clip here, feed it through the same way as before, under here and under those wires, and then bring it back to this side. Okay, so I fed all the wires through this, under here, through this stupid thing, plastic piece, and then I realized I connected the lights on the wrong side. So this is actually the right tail light, and that's the left one. It doesn't really matter. When you come to this part here, instead of black to black and gray to gray, you just flip them, and then when you turn on the left one, see the left one on the front that we didn't touch, the left one on the back will light up, so it doesn't matter. And then when you turn the right one on, right side is on, and the right side is on, and this light is also on. So all our wiring is okay, other than that, but that's fine. Now we just have to tidy this up and start putting things back together. One minor problem we have is that now that the fender starts from here instead of like all the way here, we have a lot of extra wire that just needs to be put in place like that. All that's good, but this is back in place. This plastic piece is tied in, and now I'm gonna put the, I guess the driver's seat back on. Wow, it's pretty light. To put that back on, just do that. Get these 2 screws that we put aside here. Mine have 2 yellow, well, 1 yellow line on them, so maybe that's yours do too. Just feed them through, make sure you don't drop them inside. So these 2 are 8mm hex heads, so I really don't like using the stock factory provided tools. They suck. They're enough to get you in trouble, but not to get you out of trouble, so use your own. That's in place. Now the red plastic piece, if I remember correctly, goes in like that, and then remember to put these tabs back at the back like that. I realized the whole bike, basically all the exteriors are made out of plastic, That's why it's so cheap. Let's get these 2 screws. I don't know if the more expensive leader bikes or even the 600s are all plastic. I don't know. I guess they are. It's lighter. This one is a 4mm Allen key. That's secured in place. Now we have to get the little plastic cover on here using those 2 stupid plastic screws. I think that tab here is supposed to go in that hole we just filled. So that's not happening. Yeah, so since we can't get the tab in, we'll just use our screws and secure it just like that. You can just push these in and they'll go in, they'll snap in. You don't need a screwdriver this time. This is kind of loose though because this tab isn't secure. So whatever, that's fine. Don't put something too important in here like your insurance papers. And I think other than that, all we have left is our seat. Okay, so that's done. That's my Coughlin exhaust that I did last time. I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to watch that. Yeah. Let's do a system check one last time. The middle light is on, the brake light is on. We didn't mess anything up there. Right, left signal, left there, left here, right there, right here. Okay. Thank you for watching. If you had any suggestions, I'm sure you'll leave it in the comments. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, and subscribe if you want to see more Coughlin's exhaust videos, sound comparisons while on the move. I'll be making that next most likely.